So, how y'all doing today? I hope y'all having a blessed day, man. I really do, bro. Whatever you going through, just know it's gonna get better, man. Let's go.
You said was right.
Yeah.
Is that exactly the word? So, what did you mean by that? You think it's okay to say
Oh
the word to
shoot.
call people to their face?
No, actually, I said words have meaning. And so when you start allowing them to dictate speech, then words just have to go away. And as I said in that clip, when I was growing up and I was reading English novels, when people say you're walking through the woods to get it meant a bundle of sticks. And then
Oh
they said you
shoot.
can no longer say this word that has a real meaning, right? A bundle of sticks, because some pervert took that and threw it as an epithet towards gay people. I think that's actually that's a wrong way of thinking, because then what you're doing is you're
She said a
allowing
pervert.
perverts to dictate society. So I I,
So
I
you
don't
would
like the death of the English
Mm,
language because people are getting offended. So that's like I could pick any word. I could say,
wow.
plant. And from now on, every time I see a gay guy, I'm gonna be like, he's a total plant. And then eventually they say you can't say plant anymore. It's like, no, no, no. This is a real word that has meaning. Attack the person who's
you
perverting the word,
Wow.
but you don't suddenly disappear a word and you say you can no longer say it, or you can no longer read these Virginia Woolf novels.
She's spitting. I ain't gonna lie. I heard of Candace Owens, but I never seen none of her content. I found out about her when I did a reaction. Eminem had dissed or whatever. That's my first time ever seeing a video clip of her. Now I ain't gonna lie. She's spitting. I gotta give props where it's due.
Novels because the word has been perverted. I think that's a
you can
backwards
read.
way
Of
of
course, you can
thinking.
read Virginia Woolf novels, and the only people I know who are trying to ban books, Virginia Woolf. And other books that even say the N word. I mean, it's conservatives. That's who's trying to do it. I don't think that you should be banning books. But I do know, Candace,
Mhm.
that language evolves over time. And when people say that word to me, they're not calling me a cigarette. They're
No,
not
well,
calling me
obviously, that's the point.
a
It has a
bundle of
context. So
sticks.
if you want to punish that
Right.
person because they're saying that offensively, that, if you feel that this person, but it's not fair to then say to everybody else who's not using that word that this word
Wow.
has now been banned. I just think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
point.
You
Like, I,
think
I
people
don't think
should
that
be
you can
able to?
suddenly say go backwards and delete words that had real meaning because
That's a
someone has
good
perverted
point.
it, because then it never stops. It just becomes constantly having to update the language for people's feelings. And I don't think that we should be doing that.
So you would never call me a in my face, right?
Well, why would I just randomly call you a fat?
I'm just
Have you
meaning.
ever
I
seen the
mean, you
Louis
would never
CK,
use that word
skit
against
on? Have you ever
a
seen the
gay
Louis
person.
CK skit on fat?
No, I like Louis C.K., but I don't think I've ever
You
seen a
should
skit on
watch it.
fat. Yeah. No, but you would never call like a gay person that to their face.
That seems like an absurd, like, what? No, I'm not just going around. I'm a 35-year-old mother. I don't go around being like, hey, you're a f-. That's just like, I'm not 18 years old. Like, I'm not going around calling people names, period. I wouldn't go up to a fat person and call them names. I wouldn't call it's just like it's an absurd thing to be going around pointing and calling people names because I don't like them. I would no. So the answer is no. I would not.
Do you use the N-word?
No, I don't. Still not entirely clear on what point he was trying to make there or why he kept trying to goad me into saying that I would call him the F word. He then later on asks me if I'm a homophobe. He asks me if I have any gay friends. It just got weird. And then, of course, because he has to go through the leftist liturgy, he arrived at the inevitable point where he wanted to ask me about conspiracy theories. And at this point, his producers had produced a list asking me, do you believe this? Do you believe that? Do you believe this? And because you are a regular viewer of the show, you know that these are just psychological tactics. When they're calling somebody a conspiracy theorist, it's because they don't want you asking questions about a narrative that they are insisting upon. But as I said yesterday, I'm built different. So here's what I said when he asked me about who I believe shot JFK. Take a listen.
Okay.
The CIA killed JFK.
Yes, I believe that.
You do.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because there would be no other reason for them to lock down the files for as long as they did and then come up with a stupid Russia did it thing that long. The only time you would lock down files like that regarding a sitting president being shot. And by the way, if they knew Russia had done it, we would have gone to full-blown war because they would have killed the sitting president. And also because, and this is a very interesting fact that I learned in this book, Chaos, that people should read and actually become very informed about this. The individual that shot the individual who shot JFK, his name was Jacob Rubenstein, was subsequently MK Ultra'd. That was a government program in which they had realized that if you give people a cocktail of drugs, you could essentially not brainwash them, but you could make them crazy instantly. They could give you schizophrenia instantly. So the doctor that was behind that, Dr. Leslie, this is all a fact, by the way. This is not like these are declassified. The reporter who worked on this for 22 years of his life working on this was Tom O'Neill. So I know you're laughing, but I'm encouraging you to actually read it. It could just be something you didn't know. The book is called Chaos, the CIA, the 1960s, and MK Ultra.
She checking
and they MK Ultra'd, admittedly, in the documents, they MK Ultra'd Jacob Rubenstein, which is why the judge, on the day that he appeared, the second day that he appeared, said, what happened to him? I was speaking to him totally fine yesterday, and now you're telling me that he's legally insane.
But what I want you to know is, and I think the book is called Chaos, as you said, people read it. Some of the things that you're mentioning and the names that you're mentioning have been written about before, and just as maybe you weren't aware of the birth certificate, the other things perhaps you weren't aware of the investigations that have taken place.
You just can't shoot a president in broad daylight, and then we pretend we don't know who did it. That's just that. You have to be a conspiracy theorist to believe our government had nothing to do with the shooting of JFK. That's my point. It's too ridiculous.
Okay, I'll disagree with that because I just don't. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
do you take offense do you take offense when people call you a conspiracy theorist?
Do you think what?
Do you take offense when people call you a conspiracy?
No, because I've studied the history of psychology in this country, and I know that term was actually entered into the American mindset after the shooting of JFK. They started using the term conspiracy theory to make people get off of their tail or not ask questions by making it seem like it's crazy to want to know who shot a sitting president in broad daylight. And that, my friend, is a fact. That they never expect you to know any facts beyond the ones that they give you, and typically what they're giving.
I'm gonna keep it 100. I ain't gonna lie. I'm starting to get more and more attracted to Candace Owens, bro. That's her name, Candace Owens. Candace, simple. I'm getting more attracted to Candace. I ain't gonna lie. That smartness, that nerdiness. She talk proper. I don't know. I like that type of stuff. Simple.
You are not facts. What they're giving you, the mainstream media, are conspiracies. And the conspiracies are to basically confuse you about what's actually happened. And that is why it's so important that you don't buckle and you have no fear about being called a name, because it literally, conspiracy theory is a term that the CIA came up with, Operation Mockingbird, which was put into place after the shooting of JFK to put journalists on payroll, which they did via Operation Mockingbird, to convince the public that they need not look any further than the Warren report, which was commissioned. I know you guys are asking all these questions about JFK being shot. You guys are all crazy conspiracy theorists. So typically, actually, when I hear that word, it makes me go, oh, I'm delighted, because I want to know what it is that you're trying to hide. That is why it is important to pursue real history and to pursue real knowledge, and not what is taught to us in a textbook or what is being given to us via the mainstream media, who I believe are still on the payroll of the CIA, because there's been no evidence that program, Operation Mockingbird, was ever terminated. But let me bring you to this next portion as we tease this interview. It was very long. I think it was over an hour, because this is when, perhaps for the first time ever, I fully lost my cool in an interview. So I'm going to tell you what was leading up to this. So, of course, because he was running through, like I said, this very obvious, typical liturgy of leftist talking points, he inevitably arrived at, Candace, I was struggling to do this interview today because there were people that work with me that were so offended by your statements, my statements, which were intentionally taken out of context. Actually, their statements I never even said, where they were trying to pretend that I was a Holocaust denier, as I did an episode talking about how strange it is that we remark on how deranged the scientists were under Adolf Hitler, and then we brought them over to America via Operation Paperclip. These people are so crazy. The scientists, these experiments were so nuts. Let's bring them over to America. Does that make any sense? Of course that makes no sense, but we did it. And so they've taken it out of context, and Don Lemon was doing it and going, my Jewish friends and were so hurt by this. I struggled with the decision of whether or not to let you on here. And then I'm not even kidding. You're going to watch. This is unbelievable. I then am speaking to him about Christians being persecuted, and he laughs in my face at the concept of Christian persecution. And I lost my cool. Take a listen. It's not about the Holocaust, okay? Christians suffered too. In fact, we are the most persecuted religion in the world. And I am so sick of it. I am so sick of there can only be one victim narrative.
Candace,
and if you start talking about
a Christian, and we are not the most persecuted in the world.
That is a fact. What are you saying? We're not the most persecuted religion in the world. Do you know what's happening in Armenia? Do you know what's happening in Nigeria? Do you know what just happened in Canada? The fake story that was propagated by all of the mainstream networks about the nuns, and they found the mass burial, which allowed 85 Catholic churches to be burned to the ground in the last 3 years in Canada, we are still being persecuted right now. So I take great offense to you coming in here about the sensitivities of the people that are working on your show when I'm sitting here telling you that I'm a Christian and I'm offended by what you're saying, and you laugh, you mock Christian persecution.
Bro, what?
Very
Do you think it's
important
acceptable to laugh when someone tells you about Christian persecution? Because let me tell you something. If I had done that, if I had laughed about the Holocaust, I would be chased out of polite society. Then don't laugh. Don't laugh at Christian persecution. Don't do it.
Laughable mean that the name is in the term. It's
do
laughable.
not laugh. You literally just laughed when I talked about Christian persecution. Don't do that ever again. Not in my presence.
Wow.
And that is exactly how I felt. And I just wanted people to hear that because I am so sick of this. I am so sick of people mocking Christians. They're just so comfortable doing it. He literally laughed when I started talking about Christian persecution. When I was saying that my episode was not about the Holocaust. I was talking about the German Christians who were mass murdered following the war, who had absolutely nothing to do with Hitler and nothing to do with Nazis. And I talked about how it is okay for us to talk about other persecutions because Christians are persecuted. And he laughed. The audacity of that. And I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he did it because people need to see that. People need to understand that the mainstream media has, I guess, such a lack of respect for Christians because we're always supposed to be nice. That's what they do. And they'll even, oh, you're a good little Christian. You're not acting like a good little Christian. I hate when I see this, by the way, people that are not Christians who use this line. Like, you're not behaving like a good little Christian. Right. As if they've used our Bible to subjugate us. Let me remind you how to be a good little Christian while we insult you and while we violate every single tenet that you guys believe in. Let me remind you about how you should react to me as I am insulting you. We have to stop allowing for that. And I am not kidding. Like, when that moment happened, I was like literally about to put him in timeout. Like, I was treating him like he was my son. And I was very serious when I said, do not ever do that in my presence. And I hope that I give other people the permission to do that because it is not going to change until we demand that it changes. Because he would have never, like I said, ever done that in the presence of a person that was Jewish talking about their persecution. He would have never laughed. I do not believe he would have ever done it in the presence of a Muslim talking about their persecution. It is Christians that are considered a laugh out loud joke all across the world. And there's a reason for that. And we'll get into those reasons later. Not today. Anyways, that interview, as Team Last told us, is going to be premiering in its entirety. They're sharing clips right now, but on Monday. Hopefully they drop it sooner. I think they should, because there's a lot more gems. There's even, he does the obligatory thing where he shows me a Nick Fuentes clip, which was a strange one for him to pick. He wanted to know if I wanted to denounce it. It's a clip of, I think his producers just fumbled the ball here. It's a clip of Nick Fuentes calling me beautiful and intelligent. Okay, do you want to denounce this? What kind of a trick question is this?
Hold on, Candace, hold on. You know what I'm saying? I like Candace now. I ain't gonna lie, she won my heart. She won my heart with this. She won my heart, y'all.
Anyways, you're not going to want to miss it, so be sure to catch the Don Lemon podcast so you can see that bizarre interview in its entirety. And speaking of Christianity, if you are thinking about the faith, if you are thinking that maybe you are being compelled to go into the Bible, there's no better place to begin that than with Hallow. It is summer, and like many of you, I intend to spend more time with my family, getting outside, traveling, and letting go of some of the routine.
What is that?
But
I know there's an app, but I've never heard of it. But I'm going to check that out. A prayer app? Hey, man. Some of y'all need to get it right. Kevin need to get it right, too. Simple. How can Don Lemon, is that Lemon? How can Don laugh and not take her serious, but if the topic is about, all of a sudden it's a not laughing serious topic? You feel me? I feel straight people and people deserve the same type of respect, man. You know what I'm saying? Simple. I don't know, bro. I feel like straight people don't get no respect, bro. I feel like we the least, like the lowest. You know what I'm saying? Simple. I ain't talking about race or nothing. I'm just talking about you know what I'm saying? I just feel like it just seemed like, bro, they pushing the agenda, bro. I'm not supporting the agenda. You know what I'm saying? I'm supporting to each their own, meaning do what you want to do. I don't care. But at the same time, I'm not supporting it far as I agree with it. I let my seeds, you know what I'm saying, do what they want to do. Like, I'm the daddy, you know what I'm saying? I'm the adult, you know what I'm saying? You ain't about to make no type of decision like that until you're 18. Simple. I put that in the same boat. I do not believe you're born that way. I do not. Kevo, me, my opinion, do not believe you're born that way, bro. And I definitely feel like they pushing the agenda throughout the years. Um, I'm part of the millennium. I'm part of that, but I'm barely. I was born in '96. I barely made it to the millennial, whatever. But when I was in school, it wasn't that many. You know what I'm saying? If they was in the closet. It was probably like one or two dudes walking around the school claiming it. You know what I'm saying? You go to schools now, I'm pretty sure it's 100 of them. You know what I mean? Simple. I'm just saying, like, times has changed, bro. And definitely these are the results of them pushing that agenda, bro. I really feel like they pushed it so hard. They pushed it so hard that they put it in Disney movies, bro. Disney movies, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon. You know what I'm saying? Are you serious? It just sad and it's weird, bro. But anyway, back to this. Yeah, bro. I don't know why he laughing at her, bro. You feel me? I ain't gonna lie. I'm starting to like Candace now. Simple. But man, I ain't gonna lie, Candace. I ain't gonna lie, I like Candace, bro. When I first, like I told y'all, my first time ever hearing about her, whatever. I would hear her name, but the Eminem diss, bro. The Eminem diss. I seen her response. I felt like she shouldn't have been mad at Eminem because he just trolling. Simple. But now me actually watching her content, bro. Yeah, I mess with her, bro. I mess with her tough now. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean I have to agree with everything she say. You feel me? I like Charleston White. Doesn't mean I have to agree with everything he say. You feel me? Simple. You like Kevo. You don't have to agree with everything Kevo say, bro. We are not sheep. We have our own minds, okay? But stop judging people based off one little thing they said. Oh, I'm unfollowing them. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm unsubscribing. He said this. He liked this. So what? We our own person. Simple. But I ain't gonna lie, bro. I think Kat is pretty, bro. I like her mindset. I like that she her own person. You know what I'm saying? Even right or wrong, I like that she her own person and she really stand on business, whatever she believe in. I respect that off rip. Um, I do feel like they pushing the narrative with the homo whatever the homo thing. I definitely feel like they pushing the agenda. And they got some people out there that like that type of stuff, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? That's handy dandy notebook, bro. That's 100% okay for your life. You feel me? But for Kevo life, bro, we ain't with none of that. Simple. And I don't support they pushing that on the youth, man. I promise I don't. Your boy Kevin, man. Y'all comment down below how y'all feel about it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't make my you know what I'm saying? He didn't make my little baby upset. Simple. It's okay, Candace. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop playing. I'm gonna catch y'all later in the next one, man. Y'all comment down below how y'all feel. You feel me? I know some of y'all probably don't like her. I know some of y'all do. Simple. Let me know how y'all feel.